Hello, hello, hello.
I'm waking up at the start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is gonna mean if it's gone. The cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring at the passengers and waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. I think it turned 10 o'clock, but I don't really know. And I can't remember caring for an hour or so. Started crying and I couldn't stop myself. I started running, but there's nowhere to run to. I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. Said, where you going, man? You know the world is headed for hell. Say your goodbyes if you got someone you can say goodbye to. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come right now. Let's see how far we've come. I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Yeah. Let's see how far we've come. It's gone, gone, baby, it's all gone. There's no one in the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool, it was just all cool. Now it's over for me and it's over for you. Well, it's gone, gone, baby, it's all gone. There's no one on the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool, it was just all cool. Now it's over for me and it's over for you. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Yeah, let's see how far we've come. 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 Let's see how far we've come.
Be sure to watch us live on www.livestream.com/Lakeland.
Now you can earn bachelor's and graduate degrees close to home through Lakeland Community College's Holden University Center. Choose from 6 Ohio colleges and universities and a variety of degree programs. Save thousands by taking your first 2 or more years at Lakeland. Get your bachelor's or graduate degree close to home. Lakeland's Holden University Center lets you stay here and go far. Learn more at www.lakelandcc.edu.
Did you guys know Lakeland has its own anime club? Join the fun with Anime
Anonymous. Okay, remember what instruments you play
Good.
too.
Okay, we're gonna.
Joe plays the ukulele.
Hey guys, it's Crazy Cat. I have Susan with me.
Hi.
And we also have the band Enacting an Era with us.
What's going
Say
on?
hi.
Hey, how's it going?
So how about you guys introduce yourselves and the role in the band and your role in the band?
My name is Joe Dewis, and I'm lead guitar.
My name is Ryan Workman, and I also play guitar.
My name is Kurt Broker, and I play the bass.
My name's Sam Lisco, and I play drums.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your band.
We got together in early 2012, and we continued to suck since then. I'm just kidding. We've been struggling through the scene recently, but we're just starting to get back up on our feet. You know, new year, new plans, new music. I started the band with Kurt here. He plays bass. I don't know if he said Did you say you play bass? And then I obviously picked up Joe afterwards. He probably the best guitarist I've ever played with, and Sam, the best drummer I've ever played with. But why don't you tell him a little bit, Sammy?
What's that?
Why don't you tell him a little bit?
Yeah, I guess I put up a video on YouTube at the time, and Ryan was always talking to me about trying to get something rolling, and I put that video up, and from my understanding, it better not be lying to me, but he showed the rest of the guys the video, and I just got hooked up with these guys from there. And then our singer, Matt, I actually was a co-worker
he couldn't
with him.
make it today, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, but I was a co-worker with him, and we just talked about our musical influences and what we were into. And I just had a weird feeling about him, so I brought him along to a jam. And then next thing you know is he starts doing his thing, and we were just astonished about what he could do.
It was just like instant chemistry, when we got him.
Very nice.
But
So, what genre would you guys say you guys are?
it's very hard to put a label on it. It's metal for sure, but there's so many subgenres with metal.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I'd call it metalcore, I guess.
Okay.
A lot of death metal influence too.
There's so many influences involved in it,
So going into that, what bands are your guys' influences?
Ah, man. Let's start with the list. Let's start with Joe. He's going to say
Chimera. I grew up listening to a lot of Korn, Chimera, Whitechapel.
Yeah, he's the metal head in the group,
Yeah.
I guess I could say a lot of my influence obviously comes from like Veil Maya, things like that. A lot of weirder stuff, but I also take a lot of classier things like jazz and try to incorporate that in my playing.
Then mine pretty much come from bands like As, Blood Runs Black, and Flesh God Apocalypse for sure. I try to strive for more of a Flesh God sound, just mean attacks.
What's your favorite influences, Sammy?
Oh man, there's so many. I go into like the metalcore, like you said, Veil of Maya, August Burns Red. I like the early 2000s hardcore, like Parkway Drive and Stick to Your Guns and all that stuff. And then to the more extreme, like deathcore, like Whitechapel, Thy Heart Is Murder, all that stuff. And I just try to mix a little bit into it. I don't try to be like a death metal drummer, but I try.
Very nice. So we're going to play your guys' song Phases that we found on YouTube. Well,
all right.
I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, Kat did all the work there.
Yeah, because you just kind of got thrown in last minute.
Yeah.
Phases
reminisce on so many bittersweet phases. And in an instant, the finest amber light illuminated me, set my soul ablaze. It was hard to find the courage in so much turmoil, but in that moment I thought myself okay. Because I realized after everything, all these phases, good and bad, that all I really deserve is chaos.
Make sure your mic's on.
Okay, so that was Phases by Enacting an Era, and we're now back live with the band.
What's going on?
So, what upcoming gigs do you guys have?
We're actually playing at the Agora coming up. What day is that? Tell me.
This Friday, actually.
This Friday at the Agora in Cleveland with a bunch of really tight other local metal acts. And then there's Forever and Tear, if you ever heard of them. They're a pretty big metal band. They're headlining that night. Doors open at 7:30. You get a hold of us on our Facebook page. If anybody needs tickets, we'll gladly deliver them regardless of where you're at. But it's going to be a really dope show.
Awesome. So, are you guys like working on anything new? Or
we're currently trying to get our studio together. We want to record our next whole album, completely independently instead of outsourcing to go to a studio. It just costs so much money. With that money, we figured we can do it ourselves.
Yeah. You have anything?
I'll come up with the joke stuff or after you do the serious.
Okay,
if you don't have anything serious, I can give them a joke.
Then give them a joke. I can't think of anything.
Okay, you guys should impersonate the band member to your right. Yes. Please do. So that means
man.
he impersonates him because corner.
Hey, Sam, why don't you do Kurt? I gotta hear what you got for him.
My buddy Kurt. How do I go about this? I can do the laugh, but I'm trying to just think of what to say. Well, I'll impersonate this. Kurt was recently telling me about one of our friends who's expecting a child on the way, and we were all very surprised. And he's just like, what the hell?
He's got the type of laugh to where he could tell a really bad joke and laugh, and everybody will laugh.
That's one way of putting it.
That's how I describe you, buddy.
Sorry if it was harsh. I didn't mean it like that.
He can get his revenge too. Yeah, your turn. Impersonating him.
All right. What am I?
Lay into me, Joe.
Impersonating you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was to my right.
Oh, look, his eyes lightened up. Now he
And I was like,
me.
that way.
That is true. There,
Left then.
You could do the best SpongeBob laugh out of everybody I know. But like a lot of impersonating him, you'd have to do with motion. I don't know if I can describe motion through the airwaves, but he crabs harder
On stage.
anybody I know. And if you don't know what crabbing is, you gotta spread your legs.
You gotta get full horse.
Yeah, you gotta just bend your knees and you just go ham.
I gotta do Joe now.
Yeah.
Oh man, Joe before a show, he always gets real worried and he has always got to ask me a million questions. Like, hey man, you got any picks? You got any guitar picks? Do we have enough cables for the show, man? How many bands are gonna be at the show? Come on, hey man, you're not picking up my messages, man. Can you get back to me real quick? He's got a million questions for me.
And then to go back on Joe too, I can add to that. Like, he's definitely like that. Before we go on stage, he's like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll make sure I have everything. Then we go on stage. I'm so ready to play, dude. Yeah.
So that means I have to do you then, huh?
This should be interesting, yeah.
I'm Sam. I'm the drummer. I don't know. I'm really not a very good impressionist.
It's all good.
My cup of tea.
Yeah, we're dorks.
So, how did you guys all meet?
Should I start
I feel like we covered this already.
Us is just walking the streets.
The long fable. How did I meet you? I was in another band a couple of years back, and the vocalist happened to be a really good friend of mine, and he hung out with Kurt all the time, and I guess that's how me and Kurt really started to get cool. And then Joe, I met Joe through another friend of mine. He was in another band at the time, and since I met him, I was like, man, we should really start a project. We should get a project going.
Jamming that time.
Yeah, just jamming. But Sam, I met him through another friend, and it was kind of the same thing. It was like, yeah, we know each other. We're going to kind of get a project going, sometime. And when I finally dropped the other band, it was like, really quick, to put a project that I wanted to get together, back into, getting music written.
It seemed like it came together real quick.
Yeah, it came together quick. Like, at the same time, it came together pretty well. It kind of meshed. We got that chemistry, between, now the five of us. But, we're all friends, before the band. It's always,
Definitely.
staying close.
Awesome. Do you have anything else that's funny? Now I gotta think.
Since your singer's not here, do your best impersonation of him. Anyone can go at this one because he's not here.
Hey, Sam, have you ever been to a Taco Bell?
Yeah, this dude, we go to Taco Bell after a practice, and we left, all right? And then after we got our grub, he starts telling his stories. He tells some random tangent stories.
But it's just the way he likes to start his stories. He'll ask blatant, obvious questions.
Yeah,
It kind of sound like he's insulting your knowledge, but he's really not. He's just a bit naive at times.
Definitely. And one time, and like all of us here are like heavy metal enthusiasts. Like we know like the ins and outs of what's going on for the most part. And our singer Matt, he is as well. And he came up to me. He's like, "Did you ever listen to Bring Me the Horizon before?" I'm like, "Are you serious?" He asks just the most random questions that we all know. They're so rhetorical.
Right. Like, have you ever been to Giant Eagle before, man?
You ever put gas in your car? It's like, are you serious?
No, I haven't.
What is this gas?
What is this gas you speak of?
Yeah.
What is this gas you speak of?
I can't think of anything. Does
What were
Dreamscapes have swearing in it?
Dreamscapes? Let me.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh yeah, the very end. It's pretty bad.
Leopard King would be better because at the very end
Leopard,
of
Leopard, yeah.
there's two
Leopard
bad
King's
words
pretty
at
good.
the very end of the song.
You can play that one.
Yeah.
The Leopard King.
Okay, while she looks for that, what would your dream tour lineup be?
We got to keep this short, so I think each one of us should just say,
Just limit it to 3 bands each.
Maybe 2. Mine would definitely be Veil of Maya and oh man, what other one would I pick? Let's go with Make Them Suffer. What about you, Joe? Two big bands you would love to tour with.
Like just on me personally, I would love to play with Lamb of God because Randy Blythe is awesome and Chris Adler, and I personally would love to play with Chimera at least once.
Kirky.
Honestly, the first one would probably have to be Between the Buried and Me. Just the songs themselves, they're just like a journey.
Number 1.
Like each one, like just puts you there. I think it would just be an incredible show with us against them. Well, with them, I should say, not against.
Against them.
Yeah. And then the other one would be, I'd have to say, Born of Osiris. It was just.
Come on, man. It's Born of Osiris. Sammy, 2 bands.
Oh man.
He's gonna say Reflections.
Yeah. I would love to play with Parkway Drive. I just see their videos and live sets and the energy and everything they bring. I would just like to have that energy with part of a crowd. But more or less for me, I think it'd be personally where would be more important. Like, I would love, Ryan would back me up on this, I would love to go tour in Australia.
We'll go one day.
I want to come. Just put me in a suitcase, I'll fit in.
All right, no
love
problem.
to go to Australia, and then it seems like from all the videos and everything, like Europe seems pretty dope, like Germany and France and all that. Look, some of the concerts there just look so legit and crazy. So.
Rock am Ring in Germany, 120,000 people or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that festival.
Yeah, that fest is ridiculous.
Elvis just doesn't do it justice though.
Sounds like your coat's angry, or your pants.
It's a little bit of both. Well, if you guys could meet anyone like dead or alive, who would you guys want to meet and why?
Meet anyone dead or alive? Dead silence.
Anyone?
Looks like nobody.
Well,
I think there's just so many names going through my head right now.
I have 2 actually, and the first would probably be Nikola Tesla. For sure.
No idea who you're talking about.
Tesla.
Oh,
the Tesla coil.
Come on. Just because of his mind and what he was able to come up with, and just how sad it is that we're not even able to use barely an eighth of his full potential of what he had in store for all of us. And the other one, of course, will probably be George Washington, honestly, because just have a talk with him about his view on current situations and how far we have actually fallen from what we used to be and what we could be.
Kurt's our free thinker of the group.
I see.
Oh man, one for me would definitely I'd have to say JFK, and I would just be like, dude, what really happened for real? And then then another one, I would love to say I'd probably want to meet John Bonham, because I think just hearing some older Led Zeppelin stories, just hearing some backstory, I'd just sit there and have a conversation with him and just be enlightened about whatever he had to say, because I'm sure whatever happened back in the 70s was crazy.
Jeez.
I'd like to meet Alex Lifeson from Rush, because he's an amazing guitarist, and I looked up to him when I was growing up as a young guitarist, because I was playing just classic rock because of my dad.
He's still so underrated.
Yeah.
But they put on a really, really good show in 2008 at Blossom.
See, when you say dead or alive, I always want to think somebody dead, because I feel like somebody alive I could still have that chance of meeting, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd have to say, like, I don't know. I'd honestly say, like, Hendrix, to be completely honest with you. I want to pick his brain a little bit, musically, among other things.
Yeah.
Since you guys are in the metal scene, how do you feel about Suicide Silence replacing Mitch Lucker?
I think they made a good decision about replacing him with what's his name from
Eddie Hermida.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, I remember hearing about it. You know, a lot of people gave a pretty bad review about it, but honestly, I don't think they could have picked a better vocalist to fill his spot.
I mean, it was sad that Mitch had passed, but as a band, I think it was great for them to just keep going, and especially for the fans,
Yeah,
like,
it was
kept keeping his music alive too. Like,
right, it was going to be a hit or miss with them, you know, when choosing a vocalist. Either it was going to make them stronger or it was going to break them. But I think it's unfortunate for, why does that band keep slipping my name? The band that he came from.
All Shall Perish.
That's right, All Shall Perish. Like, it's kind of unfortunate for them, because comparing the two bands, they're big bands, but Suicide Silence is much bigger. And I remember reading when Eddie left that he had told him, well, we're going to make this work for both bands. And it was unfortunate for All Shall Perish, because Suicide Silence agents had told Eddie that he couldn't play with All Shall Perish for over a year. He wasn't allowed to do any recording with them and play out with them at all. So they kind of forced him to be in Suicide Silence. So I'm curious also to see what's going to happen with All Shall Perish.
Definitely, and from a mechanic standpoint, all the ranges that Eddie Hermida brings, he has a lot of like middle ranges that Mitch either didn't have or he didn't use, and that'll open up a lot more doors for him.
At the same time, it's not saying that Mitch was a bad screamer. I honestly think Mitch was the best screamer in America. You know, his drastic highs, his drastic lows, you could understand him.
He sounded that live.
He was very unique, but at the same time, Eddie is also very unique, and that's why I feel it fits into their style very well.
And that I think a lot of influence to do with it too was the fact that Eddie Hermida and Mitch were good friends.
Yeah,
from my understanding.
Yeah, All Shall Perish and Silence have, have been good friends, good tour buddies.
So it was a homie hookup,
right,
essentially.
Any further questions?
Well, we're still trying to find a song.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have a CD if you want to.
Sure. That would have been nice to know before.
I tried to point that out, and then you got to asking questions, I got talking and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, since you guys here, none of you are the singer, how do you feel about the rest of a band usually taking like a back seat to the vocalist?
I mean, in a way, I'm like the co-front man. I do some screaming. More on the CD than live, but any clean parts usually he kind of passes over to me, and I do have a lot of influence with the writing. And I've had that compared to our vocalist, I've had that experience being on stage, and actually kind of planning out what's going to happen, directing what's going to happen throughout the show. So, when necessary, I take that step to help him front man.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like too, especially with the metal, it doesn't have that stereotypical the singer is everything that it kind of was in like 80s rock and hair metal and all that stuff. But
it's still prominent now, even.
Yeah, but
like Asking Alexandria, they try to do the all about the frontman, but it's a group effort,
I mean, that's
it together.
Definitely a group effort, but I think it's more co-balancing itself. A lot of when I show people what we're doing, the first thing people say is either the guitars, slam, or the vocals. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions and stuff about it.
So, what song do you guys want me to play?
You should play Leper King. It says number 1 on the track listing, but it's actually number 2.
Way to lie with the track listing, buddy.
Got a microphone and say that?
That's not. I don't feel like it.
Why do I skip to number 210?
Yeah.
Okay, Susan's got it.
Wait, what? It's not working.
Why did you do that?
Hang on.
Technical issues.
Doesn't want to go over?
No.
I can fast forward it until it goes
Yeah,
over.
It was a nightmare. I'm not saying it's true. I'm telling you how it is. I close to the satisfaction. Destruction is a question to you. But the places like my damage. Reaching your citizens. This is how I say. This is how I do. This is what makes it be. Your eyes are missing. Your eyes are burning.
On your mic again. Okay, so what's the craziest experience you guys have had? Like on your guys' end?
Yeah, like on a show.
Our show or a show? Because
Your own
The last show.
Let me tell you the crazy at Peabody's. Are you talking about when we were at the garage shop?
Oh, there's that one, but then there's a thing at Peabody's. We didn't actually get.
Just make up your minds, guys. Come on.
There was a show at Peabody's, and it was a big show, and this band wanted it to be memorable, so they proceeded to defecate into a bucket and throw it onto the crowd live on crowd at Peabody's. It was
on the side stage.
It was. I heard about it. I'm like, I'm no longer going to Pirates Cove.
Yeah.
Incidentally, Peabody's is closed down. Not saying it's a correlation or anything.
The craziest story. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Pretty big local band around here, Fallen Captive.
Yes.
Yes.
I opened for him one time at in Coventry, and we played. It was whatever. It was a great show. And Fallen Captive finally goes up. I'm just going ham. In the pit for him and whatnot. and I guess there's this really burly guy, and like he didn't like me being a black guy. he was an obviously prejudiced guy, but regardless, I didn't even know he existed at the venue. I jumped off the stage, and the next thing I know, I'm getting pummeled and pushed to the ground by this guy, just a ripped, like, bald-headed guy. He's got his
Skinhead.
Yeah.
Skinhead. He's a neo-Nazi.
He had his knees, like, on my chest, and I'm just kind of, like, ducking his swings, and I have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden, this really big bassist, a big, burly Hawaiian guy from the band came to my rescue at the very last second and pulled the guy off. And when he did, the crowd proceeded to, like, surround him, take him to the back of the bar, and just beat him. I had no idea what was going on, but apparently he'd been giving people trouble all night. He was drunk, and the bartender, she actually told the other band members, if this guy continues to, like, try and start fights, like, by all means, like, just take him out. So they did, and there was no more problems after that. But
I have a good one. We played a house party one night, and after we played at the party, I'm sitting around chilling because it was mostly their friends. I wasn't too familiar with anybody, and Ryan comes up to tell me that this was a friend of one of Ryan's co-women.
Ex-co.
Yeah, same thing. And he goes, yeah, the girl's mom that lets us have this here? I go, yeah, she kind of wants to have sexual relations with you.
It was the girl who threw the house party. It was her mother.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Get it, Sammy.
So what, like, from your guys' shows and stuff, what's your craziest fan experience?
Craziest fan experience?
Yeah.
The last show. It was I don't know if it. Yeah, it was the last one. A guy comes out, face bloody from the mosh pit because he got smacked really hard right when the mosh pit.
Oh yeah, that was my buddy.
He was like, "Oh, that's a good Facebook pic."
Yeah.
Majority of our crazy stuff that happens with fans, I feel we cause. I think we're crazier than the fans. And
I got one that Ryan was playing, and he jumped off the stage, and for anybody who knows music at all, Ryan's playing an LTD at this show, and LTDs have a real sharp headstock.
It's like
on them.
a spear.
It's straight up shank status, and he jumps off the stage and he's going hard as hell, and next thing we know, some kid shows us his arm, and his arm is cut from the other side of his elbow down. It's just running down his arm, and he was so like happy.
Yeah, he came up to me, he's like, man, look what you did to my arm. I'm like, oh my,
this is awesome.
I apologize, like, I didn't know. He goes, no, man, that's awesome. I got a story to tell.
He was so ecstatic. It was crazy.
And one of the recent shows, I just got into it a little too much, and I put the guitar down, and I was just screaming alongside Matt, and I get into somebody's face, and he's a smaller guy, and I knew the dude, and I pushed him, and he like fell down, like immediately. Just he fell down. I felt bad enough to get off the stage and pick him back up, but at that point I'm like, man, that kind of looked bad for the metal. So then I pushed him, and then a mosh pit proceeded to start.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so we have one more question. I'm gonna let her ask it. You guys have to give us a reason why you would think this.
Okay. Since it's the last question and I'm the joke person for the questions right now, what's your porn star name and why?
We've been over this a couple times. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't want to know that.
Joey. It'd be Caramel Thunder. Why? Look at my skin.
Okay.
Mine would be ADD.
ADD. You gotta say why.
Why?
Why?
Because halfway through he forgets what he's doing.
Probably make it ADHD. I'm really hyper. I don't know. I'm just naturally hyper.
Kurt. Come on, Kurt.
Or Sammy, either one of you two can go.
You two have
Sam,
fans?
I can only imagine. I know you've thought about this.
Kurt would be Batman.
Well, you could do the classic formula of your middle name
In the
street you grew up on, and for me that would be Alan Hercules.
That is perfect.
That is awesome.
Which would be pretty tight. Or I would do so like I'd be
That's
like
his motto. It's gonna be pretty tight.
or I'd be like Sour Skittles or something like that. like you just keep wanting more, but you cringe every time you take a bite, and I feel like that'd be me.
Kurt's gonna be the Batman. He's got the Batman symbol on him wherever he's at. So I can only imagine where it's gonna be like.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Kurt?
I just have to go with the Batman. Just gonna take an easy way out. Just go with Batman.
Okay, so this is Crazy Cat. We're with Enacting an Era, and we'll see you guys later.
See you later.
See ya.
Peace.
This is DJ Black Rose. Like us.